this Tree of Life blank that I filled in years and years and years ago. Yes, that's my pitiful handwriting there. I found this morning. I'm going through old files and stuff this morning. This was, let's see, this is my form here, that part of the thing that I filled out just prior to, I believe this was prior to my taking my 4th degree in the OTO, which more or less is more helpful when you understand at least the basics of the Tree of Life. And this is my little test paper left over from that. I've been finding wonderful, wonderful things. Also, 45 days, literally 45 days after my Minerval initiation on November 15th, 1975, I went back to my home in Costa Mesa, and I ordered a couple of new editions or volumes of the In the Continuum magazine that Phyllis Seckler published. And Phyllis was, along with Grady McMurtry, was my OTO initiator. And so I wrote her a letter and said how much I enjoyed my initiation and having a chance to meet her and Grady and chat for that weekend up in Dublin. And she wrote me this very nice letter back on OTO stationery. But what's really interesting about it is, and this is a digression, indulge me, is Phyllis was an excellent astrologer. And she had, even before she considered my application to be initiated into the OTO, she insisted on me giving her my birth information so she could write up a chart or draw up my astrological chart to make sure I wasn't a mass murderer or worse, an occult crazy. And we chatted a little bit in November of '75 at my initiation, but not much. And so she wrote me a more in-depth analysis of my my astrological chart, and she wrote out just a couple page little summary of it, which is very, very interesting. It's so interesting, in fact, that hopefully I'll find an opportunity to share it with you. But first of all, I got a kick out of, she really meant 1975. But when I was going through the files and putting these things in chronological order, I said, whoa, am I going to have to put that one? December 30th, 1945. That really makes me feel like a senior officer. But anyway, hopefully I'll read that, because looking back at it now, these many, many years later, what is it, 46 years later, to be an armchair astrologer and looking at things in retrospect, her analysis of my chart is mind-blowingly cool. So I want to share that with you someday anyway. Anyway, we've got workmen working around the house today, so I may not make this an extra long one because they're coming in and out and probably hammering on things. So please excuse today's activities out here. We're on section G, which is the spirit section of the Liber Samic, which is the most in-depth and esoteric and complex and mysterious of all of Crowley's initiations, it is an initiation, but his rituals. It's the ritual of the invocation of the Holy Guardian Angel. Now, it may seem that all of this is insanely complex and you're actually meant to do this over and over and over again over an 11-month period. Okay, so all of these visualizations that are going on in your head, and the entire ritual, of course, takes place in your head or in your body of light. So what seems insanely complex, when you keep in mind that you do this several times a day, or 3 times a day, or then 4 times a day over an 11-month period, it doesn't seem so unreasonable that you would pay attention to all of these many, many nuances of what's going on internally while you're visualizing all of this. And like I said before, I put the entire ceremony also in a more readable form, as if it was the script of an actual ceremony that you're walking through. I've included that at the end of this, and I've already read that to you in the morning readings. So you can practice this as a straightforward ritual where you march around a circle and draw your pentagrams and do your signs and say your words and stuff like that, in order to get you into the groove for this internal replay of this ritual. So we've gone around the quarters, extending our flaming verundum in all directions, and we've come back to the center, and now we've done the vertical. So we've done 4 horizontal extensions of our soul, if you will, and return to the center, and then done a vertical one. And at the same time we've done the vertical extension, we've also expanded from our center to encompass the limitless space itself, or the body of Nui. Here's Crowley's comments on section G, which is that spirit one. And I'm going to skip ahead to read something first before we start it. The main purpose of the ritual is to establish the relation of the subconscious self with the angel in such a way that the adept is aware that his angel is the unity which expresses the sum of the elements of that self. That is, his normal consciousness contains alien enemies introduced by the accidents of environment, and that his knowledge and conversation of the Holy Guardian Angel destroys all doubts and delusions, confers all blessings, teaches all truth, contains all delights. I'll repeat that again when I get to that place. Section G, Spirit. It's page 141 if you're following along, of the Magick of Aleister Crowley. The adept, though withdrawn, shall have maintained the extension of his symbol. He now repeats the signs as before, save that he makes the passive invoking pentagram of spirit. He concentrates his consciousness within his twin symbol of self, and endeavors to send it to sleep. But if the operation be performed properly, his angel shall have accepted the offering of the dew and seized with further upon the extension symbol of the will toward himself. Remember, it was that dew, that drop of dew that appeared on the cranium, the sutures, at the literal climax of all of this will extension. This then shall he, capital H meaning the angel, this then shall he shake vehemently with vibrations of love reverberating with the words of the section. There'll be Barbara's words for this. Even in the physical ears of the adept there shall resound an echo thereof, yet he shall not be able to describe it. It shall seem both louder than thunder and softer than the whisper of the night wind. It shall at once be inarticulate and mean more than he hath ever heard. Now let him strive with all the strength of his soul to withstand the will of his angel, concealing himself in the closest cell of the citadel of consciousness. Let him consecrate himself to resist the assault of the voice and the vibration until his consciousness faint away into nothing. For if there abide unabsorbed even one single atom of the false ego, the atom should stain the virginity of the true self and profane the oath. Then that atom should be so inflamed by the approach of the angel that it should overwhelm the rest of the mind, tyrannize over it, and become an insane despot to the total ruin of the realm. But, all being dead to sense, who then is able to strive against the angel? He shall intensify the stress of his spirit so that his loyal legions of lion serpents leap from the ambush, awakening the adept to witness their will and sweep him with their enthusiasm, so that he consciously partakes their purpose and sees in its simplicity the solution of all his perplexities. Then shall the adept be aware that he is being swept away through the column of his will symbol, and that his angel is indeed himself, with the intimacy so intense as to become identity that is not in a single ego, but in every unconscious element that shares in that that's manifold uprush. This rapture is accomplished by a tempest of brilliant light, almost always, and also in many cases by an outburst of sound, stupendous and sublime in all cases, though its character may vary within wide limits. The spate of stars shoots from the head of the will symbol and is scattered over the sky in glittering galaxies. This dispersion destroys the concentration of the adept, whose mind cannot master such multiplicity of majesty. As a rule, he simply sinks, stunned into normality, to recall nothing of its experience but a vague though vivid impression of complete release and ineffable rapture. Reception fortifies him to realize the nature of his attainment, and his angel, the link once made, frequents him and trains him subtly to be sensitive to his holy presence and persuasion. But it may occur, especially after repeated success, the adept is not flung back into his mortality by the explosion of the star spate, but identified with one particular lion serpent, continuing conscious thereof until it finds its proper place in space, when its secret self flowers forth as truth, which the adept may then take back to earth with him. But this is a side issue. The main purpose of the ritual is to establish the relation of the subconscious self with the angel in such a way that the adept is aware that his angel is the unity which expresses the sum of the elements of that self, that his normal consciousness contains alien enemies introduced by accidents of environment, and that his knowledge and conversation of this holy guardian angel destroys all doubts and delusions, confirms all blessings, teaches all truth, and contains all delights. But it is important that the adept should not rest in mere inexpressible realization of his rapture, but rouse himself to make the relation submit to analysis, to render it in rational terms, and thereby enlighten his mind and heart in a sense as superior to fanatical enthusiasm as Beethoven's music is to West African war drums. Then the barbarous words for spirit. As a matter of fact, we've got time. Hear me, I-E-O-U, the indwelling son of myself. Pur, P-U-R, thou fire, thou sixfold star initiator, compassed about with force and fire. Eo, indwelling soul of myself. Pur, we've already said that. Eaoth, sun, lion, serpent, hail, hail, all hail thou great wild beast, thou Eao. Eaio, breaths of my soul, breaths of my angel. E-O-O-U, lust of my soul, lust of my angel. Abrasax, we've already talked about that. Sabriam, ho for the sangriel, ho for the cup of Babylon, ho for mine angel pouring himself forth within my soul. Ooh, spelled O-O. The eye, Satan, my lord, the lust of the goat. FF, which is a vav or a oo also. O, mine angel, mine initiator, thou won with me the sixfold star. Ad-on-ai, my lord, my secret self beyond self. Hadit, all father, hail on, thou son, thou life of man, thou sixfold sword of flame, thou goat exalted upon the earth in lust, thou snake extended upon the earth in life, spirit most holy, seed most wise, innocent babe, inviolate maid, begetter of being, soul of all souls, word of all words, come forth most hidden light. Now that's quite a translation of the single word Adonai, but that's it. E-D-E, Ede, devour thou me. E-D-U, Edu, thou dost devour me. Angelos ton theon, thou angel of the gods. Anlala, arise thou in me free-flowing, thou who art not, utter thy word. Lai, I also am not. I will thee, I behold thee, my nothingness. Gaia, leap up thou earth. This is also an agonizing appeal to the earth, the mother, for at this point of the ceremony, the adept should be torn from his mortal attachments and die to himself in the orgasm of his operation. Aepe, spelled A-E-P-E, thou exalted one. In other words, spiritual semen, the adept's secret ideas drawn irresistibly from their hell by the love of his angel, leaps up, it leaps forth. Diatharna, Thoron, lo, the outsplashing of the seeds of immortality. Wow. I think we're probably going to, well, no. We've probably got a couple more days to go on this. But we're going to start tomorrow with section G, small g, the attainment. So until then, let me think about reading my astrological analysis from Phyllis Seckler. That was given to me in a letter from her, December 30th, 1945. Maybe I'll post a little reading of that later if Constance lets me. Until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.